Hi, hello, how are you? Good morning, happy Tuesday. I was gonna wait until I had done my hair and stuff to start filming, but this is just realistically what I look like right now. And I wanted to update you guys. I am reading The Discovery of Witches. I'm supposed to be reading 89 pages a night, 79. But even listening to the audiobook on 2 speed, I am just not hitting that. It's taking me so long. I'm listening to the audiobook on Spotify, which is something new that I'm trying. But you only get 15 hours of listening time. So halfway through me reading last night, I hit 15 hours and I was like, you're done for this month. Thankfully, my Spotify re-upped today, so I have 15 more hours, but I still have 19 hours left of the book. And I don't know if that's just it calculating if I was reading on 1 speed or if that's it calculating me reading on 2 speed. So I'm a little worried I'm gonna get towards the end of the book and also run out of more time. So I don't know if it's worth it to have, maybe, I don't know. I don't listen to that many audiobooks. But some months I really like having an audiobook to go with my book, especially dense books like this. So I read maybe 15 more pages after my audiobook finished. And then I had to go to sleep. It was 11 and I still had 15 pages left, which and that's just to get to the 79 pages I normally set out to read. I was also planning on reading an additional 20 pages to try to make up for only reading 21 pages on my first day. I'm behind. But I think I can catch up. This week of working is super slow. Pretty much everybody in my agency takes off Thanksgiving week, so I'm getting maybe an email every other hour. Answering it, my computer is open next to me, so I am still technically working, but I just don't have a ton to do. I'm crocheting right now. That's why I have band-aids on my fingers. I have tried different types of crochet rings to keep the yarn from rubbing on my finger, and they just don't work for me. So I wear band-aids, and I'm working on a cowl. I think I mentioned that in my last vlog. It needs to be maybe 5 or 6 rows thicker in order to cover the back of my head properly. This one is for one of my aunts. All of my aunts and my nana and my mom are getting cowls for Christmas. And then maybe something else small. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm working on. And I'm also watching Kung Fu Panda right now, which is a guilty pleasure video for me. My youngest brother watched it constantly when he was younger, and I have just always really loved it. I love Jack Black. He's hilarious. So that's what I'm doing. Reading wise though, I'm really enjoying Discovery of Witches. I love Matthew and Diana and just how traditional Matthew is. We've learned he's roughly 1500 years old. So his way of thinking about women and relationships is very, very old school. He's not misogynistic. He does just think that there are some things like opening the car door and carrying things and chivalry and whatnot that should still be in place, but I don't get the sense from him that he is a misogynist, which I really appreciate. And I love the protectiveness that he has over Diana. I know it's a vampire possession thing, but the way that it's done is very sweet, and he's not trying to make her change her life or do things the way that he wants. He just doesn't want her to get hurt. So, we're learning that this manuscript that she discovered, everybody wants it. Everybody seems to think that it is the book that describes the origins of witches, vampires, and demons, where they come from, and that the book also might be able to tell them how to destroy vampires. So Matthew doesn't want it to get into the wrong hands because he thinks that it will make his people go extinct, and the witches want it because that's exactly what they want. So I'm just really enjoying it. I'm gonna try to catch up a little bit during my lunch break, and then probably do some more reading just later on in the day when I'm supposed to be working, but I really just don't have anything to do. So that's just kind of the plan for today, and I will update you later. Hello, it's much later. I'm still in my PJs, but I have showered and, you know, changed things. I am reading A Discovery of Witches currently, and I just found out, so Matthew works in a lab where he's studying genetics and evolution of vampires and witches and demons, and also trying to figure out how to stop them from going extinct. There's all of these murders happening all over the place, and it turns out that it's actually vampires trying to turn humans into vampires, which, you know, used to be a simple thing, but for some reason vampires who are considered new blood are not being able to complete the transformation, and the people are dying. So it looks like murder. Someone who is as old as Matthew is still able to do it, but he has reached an age, I guess, where he's not as compelled to do it anymore. So given the fact that older vampires aren't changing people as often, and new vampires are almost unable to, they are kind of slowly dying out. And so that's something that he's studying with this girl Miriam and Marcus. And I just found out that Marcus is Matthew's son. I got to this line, Matthew is super upset. There are people who are starting to threaten Diana now. They figured out that it's not a spell that she used to unlock Ashmole 782. It seemed to just respond to her as a person, which is dangerous because it means that it's not simply just finding out the spell she used and doing it themselves. They need her. So the witches have declared her as a, you know, betrayer because she's been openly physical with Matthew, and vampires and witches don't date. And so he's like, you're coming to stay with me, or you're staying at this house that I own. You can't stay here anymore. It's very dangerous for you. And so they come to her house, and she's got some mail, and she opens it, and it's a picture of when her parents were murdered. It's very graphic, and she just has a full-blown panic attack. And Matthew is able to calm her down after a while, and he calls for Marcus to bring him some things, and Marcus gets there, and he's just kind of watching Matthew's demeanor and stuff. And he says, typically Matthew's rage was so destructive that once the poison was out of his system, he disappeared for months or even years to come to terms with what he'd done. And Marcus had never seen his father so coldly furious as he was now. And I don't know if the father-son relationship in vampires and this is just like Matthew turned Marcus, or was able to like physically sire Marcus. So that's an interesting turn of events. I just had to come on and say that. I have been reading on and off all day, and I'm almost up to where I need to be to finish today, and then I might just keep reading. I really need to crochet, but this is just getting so good, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Hello, happy Sunday. I'm in my chair. Sorry about that light. I have not gotten to sit here in months. It has been just filled with wedding stuff and clothes. I have a really bad habit of setting clothes here, hanging them, and putting them away properly, but I've been pretty good about it. I just swapped out like my winter and summer clothes, and they go behind here. But I can actually sit in this chair. Not that I can really be in this room. You can't see how much stuff is in front of me right now. I can't even put up the footrest. But I just cleared it, and I was like, I'm gonna sit in this chair. I'm also wanting to update you guys because I finished A Discovery of Witches, which I really enjoyed. I absolutely love dark academia, and I'm loving that it's mixed currently in this book with witches and vampires and werewolves. It was just so good. I am like 2-3 days behind on reading. I was doing relatively well, and then Friday I started feeling just like crap. I had a really bad migraine and I had tried taking stuff for it, and I ended up drinking a soda at like 10 o'clock at night, and that helped it go away enough for me to fall asleep. But because I was feeling so bad, I ended up not reading, and I was already a day behind at that point and trying to catch up, so it just put me behind. And then of course Saturday I started my period, so I was like, okay, that absolutely makes sense of why I wasn't feeling well. But I've just been kind of laying around the house and reading. I went to a coffee shop yesterday to read for a bit, but I still had my migraine. So after only being there for maybe like 30-40 minutes, I was like, I just need to go home. I don't feel well. So I just came back to read on the couch and was nearly done. I had about 80 pages left last night and it was already 2 a.m. so I went to sleep, and I didn't get up until 11 o'clock today. I was just really exhausted. One of my like big period issues is fatigue, and just being so exhausted. But I immediately got up and started reading A Discovery of Witches. I'm not sure if it's a 5-star or not. It feels at least like a 4.5. But I haven't fully decided if it's a 5-star. I'm honestly a little bit foggy still today. I need to go to the grocery store. So I'm gonna go and come back and mark it on Goodreads. I think it's a 5-star. It's just not like a 10 out of 10, I guess. It's like a 9 out of 10, which is still a 5-star, but not, it's not hitting me, I guess. I don't know, it feels like it is, it feels like it isn't. I'm not really sure. I definitely want to, I know that there's more books in this series, so I want to pick those up, but I'm on a book buying ban and I have a set TBR, so we'll see when I pick it up. But I really enjoyed it. I love Matthew and Diana. I really, really loved the like found family that we get in the last like third of the book, where they're at Diana's family home with Sarah and Em, her aunts, and Marcus and Miriam show up, Nathaniel and Sophia, and they just form this like cohesive unit and coexist with each other in ways that vampires and demons and witches have not in a really long time in their world. So I really enjoyed that. I loved the way that they all got along and how protective they were of Diana, and how they're all finally starting to realize that this is bigger than just, you know, Diana and her powers and Ashmole 782. It's about the like future of their species and protecting those future generations. So I really, really enjoyed it. And I want to buy the next book already and just keep going. But I have one more book left on my TBR, and maybe if I stick to this month's and next month's, I will buy the second book for myself in January. That's a ways off, it feels like, but I just have so many books on my shelves that I need to read first, and I have other things that I need to buy, like Christmas gifts and stuff. The books aren't that expensive, but still. So I'm gonna go to the grocery store, and I will update you tomorrow after I have started the Nightbirds. Hello, happy Monday. I am working, not from here, I just came in here because the lighting is nice in this window. But I'm working from the couch. It was really cold this morning, and I'm excited about that because I got to turn the heater on. I had to light the pilot, but I like jumped in the shower, and when I got out, the apartment felt really, really nice and warm and just super cozy. And on and off between working, I have been crocheting. I finished the cardigan that I was working on. This is it. I really like it. I wish when I'd done this back panel that I had followed the pattern here. I just wasn't thinking about it because I was like, oh, 3 green rows on one side, 3 green rows on the other. And on the video that I was following, she also just used the same color, but it wasn't such a dark color. But I'm really proud of it. I might undo the sleeves and lengthen, or I might undo the cuffs and lengthen the sleeves a little bit. And I want to add some buttons, but if you are making cardigans and stuff like that, steam them. I got a handheld steamer, and and the cardigan was like super scrunched up and a lot smaller, and after I steamed it, it relaxed so much and it just made it feel so much more comfortable. So I'm pretty proud of that for like my first time doing that pattern, and I have a bunch of ombre yarn that I want to use and do more of them, so that's exciting. Last night I started The Nightbirds by Kate J. Armstrong, and it is about these girls who are called Nightbirds. One of them can give you the ability to change your appearance. One of them can give you the ability to like sway another person to do your bidding, and I can't remember what the third person can do, but they're girls and you have to pay this like large amount of money to go see them, and when they give you a kiss, that's how they transfer some of their ability to you. And we start off with this guy who goes to see the goldfinch, and she's the one who gives you the ability to change your appearance, and he's got some really bad gambling debts, so he's trying to go basically pretend he's someone else to steal some of their money and pay off his debts. And he mentions that he thinks that the girl looks familiar, and then it turns to being at the party and we get introduced to the girls who are the Nightbirds, and they wear masks to keep their identities secret so that they're not killed, because magic is technically illegal in their time, or in where they live. And so that people don't kidnap them to use their abilities for themselves. So we're at a party and we see these girls, and we're introduced to all the girls who are the Nightbirds behind the masks. And one of the girls, Matilda, her friend comes up to her and they're chatting, and they're at like a coming to court sort of ball where, you know, they're being introduced to potential suitors who might be interested in them, and a friend of hers comes up and he's very cocky, and it turns out it's the guy who she had just kissed like a night before or so to give him the ability to change his appearance. And she's a little bit upset that he's trying to make his sudden turn in luck seem like his doing, as if he hadn't gone to her and she was the one who gave him the magic to fix the trouble that he was in. And kind of out of spite and pettiness, she basically reveals that she is a Nightbird, which she's not supposed to do. And that's where I ended. I only got 35 pages in. I was really tired. I am working on some infinity scarves for my aunts, and just started a Weasley sweater for my cousin's wife for Christmas, and I could not for the life of me find my needles. So I was supposed to start the sweater at 8, and I didn't start until almost 9 o'clock, and then cleaning up and getting ready for bed. I wasn't in bed until almost like 9:45, because I was throwing stuff out, and I've just been trying to be better about keeping the house clean. But by the time I was done with all of that and in bed, it was already 10 o'clock. So I only read for about 30 minutes, and then I was just exhausted and I went to sleep. So hopefully in the coming week I will keep up with this. I have to finish it by the end of the month, and then there's so much that I want to read next month, and I'm trying to convince myself not to go buy the second book in A Discovery of Witches or Defiant, which is part of the Skyward series that Brandon Sanderson writes, because that just came out on the 21st and I'm excited to read it. But I'm also really behind on my reading goal by like 15 books. Definitely not gonna be able to read 15 books in December, so I might lower it from 50 to 45 and then maybe pick up a graphic novel or something at some point and be able to finish it. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna end this here and start a new vlog probably in a day or two when I have made more progress on this. But like I said, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and leave a comment down below. Let me know how your Thanksgiving was, how you're doing, and what sort of items and books you have on your wish list for Christmas. I will talk to you later. Bye!